So the adrenaline is little settled now because you had to rush. How are you all doing? Good. That was a good one. Very good. Can you remind me what shloka we are on in Bhaj Govindam? Have we done the 11th one? Or we finished the 10th one only? So please repeat after me. Ma kuru dhana jana ब्रेकफास्ट नहीं खाया आज? नहीं खाया, मैंने भी नहीं खाया. मा कुरु धन जन यौवन गर्वम हरति निमेषात् काल सर्वम मायामयमिदं अखिलं हित्वा. Here akilam hitva or akilam buddhva, both are there. Not that one is right and one is wrong. Both give almost the same meaning. Brahma padam tvam pravisha videtva. So satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan mukti. If that is the purpose, if that is the direction, then where are different avenues where we often see the individuals get caught up in? So one such avenue is listed out in the first line. Dhana, jana, yavana. Having dhana is not bad, having jana is not bad, being yavana, being young is not bad. But what is the problem then? Etani sarvani garvam. In these three, having garva. Garva, being boastful about, being arrogant about it, or the arrogance born because of it, that is bad. Why? All of these are transient in nature. Dhana, jana, yavana. And though technically we want to stay youthful, young, all through the life. Do you remember the first time you were called uncle or auntie? Way back. Swamiji, don't call it way back. The first time that you were called uncle and auntie, there was like a hole inside, right? Ouch. Have you yet been called as grandfather? No? Grandmother? The first time when you feel that you have been called out in being a grandfather or a grandmother, and it took you by shock. There is another big hole inside. This is way back, almost 10 years ago. I was traveling from Bangalore to Vijayawada in a bus, a night-bound bus. And the uniqueness was they are sleeper coaches. You can actually sleep in that bus, flat. So I got into it. My sleeper was up, so I had already gotten in. There is this lady with 2 kids and a lot of luggage. She got in with the kids. One kid both were toddlers, but one could stand on his own feet. The other one could roll over, like. One was ladka and the other one was ludka. So she was carrying, and her luggage was unattended out there on the street where she had to pull it from. I was ready to jump to say, don't worry, I'll get that for you. I don't know from that angle what she saw up. And then she looked and said, in Telugu she said, Tata garu, pillani kasep chuskondi. 10 years ago. बहुत सदमे में पहुंच गया था मैं. I had been suddenly pushed into an abyss of misery right there. So what did she end up saying? She said, Tata garu means grandfather. Grandfather, can you take care of this kid and watch the other one down? Meanwhile, I'll get the luggage. I was like mentally prepared to go and get that luggage for her. And now I said, no way, I'm going to help you now, lady. Go get it yourself. And many do throw a protest when addressed uncle and auntie. Don't call me uncle, don't call me auntie. अभी तो मैं उस उम्र का हुआ नहीं हूं. Yavana comes and goes. Dhana also is quite a transitory kind. बैंक लूट जाते हैं. सिल्वर लाइनिंग, SVB, सिग्नेचर, वेल्स फार्गो है कि गया? है अभी. Current status. See, we having our wealth is one thing. Collected, put in the bank. The bank is overnight gone. Dhana. As dhana increases, jana also increase. Have you seen that? Because that is why they are called relatives. Relatives increase in relationship with the wealth. So they are relative to the wealth. Wealth, name, fame. We have seen that people who get these lottery tickets, several millions in one shot, and they have this suing and counter suing, and there is a lot things happening because you promised me long time ago, and now that you have this wealth, my first dips. And this fellow is wondering, "Tu kahan se paida ho gaya? Where am I related to you?" But they will establish the relation. Jana can also mean people who follow. And in today's world, you have to include your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok followers. Jana. And this was almost 5-6 years ago. I was traveling through Europe back to Dallas, and there was this lady who was traveling, happened to sit next to me in this particular leg. She was going to El Paso. She was a psychiatrist. So we got talking, and she said, of late there is a new syndrome, like Facebook update syndrome, which I think is continued in the other platforms as well. You post something, how many people have liked it, how many people are following it, how many people are commenting it, how many people have RT'd it, retweeted it. And if nobody is paying attention to it, then you feel, I am being neglected. Nobody loves me no more. Why? Because nobody is commenting, nobody is liking. I thought it was ridiculous, but I have heard people say that after posting they call and say, "Did you see my post?" Yeah. Dhana, Jana. And with the kind of politics, you don't know where that Jana will stand. Today they support, tomorrow suddenly they withdraw the support. And somebody very beautifully articulated, I am not somebody like a chameleon that changes parties. You look at my track record. I have always been in the ruling party. Jana. Dhana, Jana, Yavana, he says in the next sentence very beautifully, Harati Nimeshat Kala Sarvam. Harati Nimeshat. Nimeshat. It is there a minute, and before you realize it is all gone. You made an investment and the stock market said, I was watching something, I don't know where it was, but, and this person was saying that there was this 3-month period where I had almost 1.5 times Jeff Bezos' wealth. 1.5 times more wealth than Jeff Bezos. His stock had really hit the high wave, high tide. After the 3 months, within those 3 months, what happened? The entire value of his stock, his company, it went down, and he had to declare himself bankrupt within 3 months. He had seen the high. He was like the richest man of the world for 3 months, and then down, lost it all. We hear such stories so many times. Harati nimeshat kalaha sarvam. And with the recent pandemic, हट्टे कट्टे लोग when within one family 16, 17 people. Harati nimeshat. Within few moments, you don't even realize when it will happen. The effect of that was so devastating that there are people who are still in their rooms not willing to step outside. Psychologically devastated. Harati nimeshat. But that is the pulse of this entire creation. Isn't it? Nothing stays as is. Nothing stays permanent. Have you ever had to counsel your child when they had this bonding with someone they called BFF, and that BFF for whatever reasons is not a BFF anymore, and your child is hurting? Have you ever counseled? Yes or no? Nahi? So when you counsel, what do you say? It's okay. Friends come and go. If not this, you will get a better one. The same thing in application here. But with respect to everything, every aspect of life, whether it is people and relation, whether it is wealth, position, name, fame, spotlight, whether it is power. How many powerful people that we have not seen that have lost power and became completely powerless? In our own lifetime, we have seen that happen. My vaguest memory was there was a dictator in Romania way back in the 80s. A very ruthless fellow. I think so. So he was giving a statement in UN one day. The next day he comes, he gets arrested, and as he is being taken, he gets shot. He gets the limelight and then done also. There's so many people that we can see. The power comes, power goes. But the one who have understood it and have come to terms with the bottom line, it reminds me the story of Alexander coming to the Indian borders. So his teacher, he had told him, if possible, India is supposed to have very good, knowledgeable, wise men. If possible, convince one of them to come along with you. I would like to interact with such wise ones. So like he usurped a lot of things, he asked, have I reached India? If I have reached India, because he was still confused whether he had reached India or not. He had reached this land and he had won. Like, मैं पहुंचा कहाँ हूँ? जीत तो गया हूँ, पर पहुंच कहाँ गया मैं? So he calls for people and then he realizes this is India. I said, okay, then can I find a wise man? The address was given, GPS was shared. So he reached to that place, and this supposed to be wise man, he was lying down on a boulder, on a rock, basking in the sun, half naked. So these ministers and the soldiers went and said, our emperor is calling you. Hoga tera emperor. Move. Why? You're coming in between the sun and me. I'm having a nice, I'm basking in his warmth. If you don't come, you know what will happen? You will be killed. I have seen many people threaten. Now move aside. All this was reported back to Alexander. So he said, tell him that I am coming myself. So that wise man said, Aane bolo. There is enough space on this boulder. He can also sit. See, the fearlessness with which he जैसे हिंदी में कहते हैं, इतना भी डगमगाया नहीं. Not even an ounce that he was shaken up. And well, Alexander saw that fellow was, it's not like he was being callous or he was being careless. It really didn't matter to him. So he sits down next to him and says, where I have gone through, coming from Greece all the way to the Indian borders, he has crossed a lot of land, lot of people, lot of different kinds of mindsets. He said, I have gone through several thousands of kilometers. I have not found this kind of quality of fearlessness. Where do you draw this kind of fearlessness? So the wise man said, dude, all that which you can take is at this physical level. I have absolutely no attachment to that. I said, my teacher wants to meet somebody like you, I want to take you there. He says, in his, again, extended fearlessness, he says, the need is his, right? Ask him to come here. For fulfilling his need, why should I be going there? Kiska need hai? It's your guru, right? Your teacher, right? Ask him to come. I have no objection of him coming and talking with me, but I am not somebody who will be tagging along with you to go. If you come to that bottom line wherein you understand that anything that which we are attached to in this particular realm, harati nimeshat kala sarvam. It shall perish, it shall change. Nothing remains permanent. Nothing remains the way as is. Harati nimeshat kalasarva. And then he says, Maya mayamidam akhilam buddhva or hitva. Understand this world, understand this creation as a projected reality. See, after having given the baseline statement, he takes it to the complete abstractness of the highest Vedantic principle. He says, Maya mayamidam akhilam buddhva. The word Maya is a very technical word. What does that word Maya mean? Colloquially, we use it in almost every Indian language. In Hindi, ये सब माया है, ये सब मोह माया है. So what do we mean by Maya? Most generally, the word Maya means delusional. The entire creation is delusional from the perspective that we have given it the validity of reality with such vehemency that it takes a hold on us. So much so that it's not that we are running after it, it is dragging us. That is the kind of hold that we have given. We are not driving it, we are being driven by the world from outside in. Somebody who got promoted from a VP to a COO, very recently he had come to say, Swamiji, I need to come and meet you. I just got promoted to this. It's the end of line in my thing. I just reached there and I wanted to come and meet. So he came, sat down with me, met. He was supposed to come at one time, but he changed it. तो मैं चाय पी रहा था, तो चाय पीते वक्त मैंने भी पी थी. I gave him some chai also. While sipping the chai, he said, I have reached here, but as I was reaching that position, as I was being given that baton and getting to that helm of things, there's a very profound epiphany that I have gone through that I wanted to come and share. That having reached, now the first question that hit me was, what is it that I am running for? Right since the time that I finished my undergrad, then masters, then finished couple of internships, then I got, he was talking about his 30-35 years journey. One after the other, things were being pitched and I was working, slogging, gone through. I have reached, I have just gotten this. But this is where I got a moment to sit down and reevaluate myself, my own life. What was I running for? Yes, I was told, I was molded, I was given this driven environment where I drove myself to reach to this point. भाग तो रहा था, पहुंच भी गया हूं, पर किस लिए भागा मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूं. At the end of the day, this when hit, I'm thinking of now resigning. सोच लिया. You have reached there after not a day or two or a year or two, after 3 decades you have reached there. Wherever crossroads that you have reached and whatever questioning that has come, have you processed it? Because once quit, it's not like you have a re-entry ticket. सिनेमा बोर लग रहा था, मैं बाहर गया तो थोड़ी देर बाद में मुझे फिर देखने का मन किया, फिर अंदर गया, तो अलाउ करते हैं. ये वैसे नहीं है. It's not like that. So from that perspective, I was like, सोच तो लिया, have you thought through? children are settled, they are yet to get married. Wife is also, I have enough. Now, before I reach to the point where all that which I have earned, all that which has meant anything, I have to end up spending in recovering all my peace of mind or health, I think it is good time for me to quit when I am on the high. Have you spoken with everybody in your family? No, just before that I have come to you just to share this. I mean, I didn't offer much because he was not like, I have come here to ask of your opinion or ask of direction. I have come here to share this with you. Kar lo bhai. But as a word of caution. But I think he was in a very profound crossroad where he came to some very profound understanding that having reached there, whatever I have been groomed to run for, whatever I did run. Whatever I have reached, enough of running. Why? It's not on my terms. It's not on, having reached there, I don't know why I was running for this. Yes, there is a spotlight, there is everything. It comes with the challenge, it comes with the pressure. It's nothing different than what I have been handling so far. Maybe a little more expanded, but nothing big. We will all reach that crossroad once, wherein I'm not talking about having become a CEO or coming to that crossroad wherein we get to question our own priority. Why am I going? Where am I heading to? Is it something that really matters to me? Because the delusion that we are caught up in as to what is driving me, is it that I am driving or am I being driven? When that delusion is understood, then that which happens. What did I tell him? Let me finish that, because many people, Swami, उसको आपने बताया क्या? So I said, look, it is having reached where you have reached, now you understand that that is not something that should drive you. Understood. But you are already there. And it is not something that which now has that kind of control which was there up until this point. Do you feel free? I said, yes. Now, if you feel free, until you want to, until you can, is there something stopping you to be there itself, to continue? My standpoint was, yes, it has lost its value, it has lost its priority in my head. Do you have the freedom to quit or to continue? Then I have freedom for both. Continue and let this wisdom that which you have gained, the priority which has been reset, let it solidify. I still feel that it is yet to solidify. Once you feel solid about it, it may take 10 days, it may take a fortnight, it may take a year. Whenever it happens, when you feel solid with that complete accessibility of your freedom, then you wouldn't even want to quit. At that point, quit. Am I getting across? No? To tell it to you in your language, unna poina nak nashtam ledu. When you reach to that solid state of understanding, at that point you quit. You are trying to quit today from the standpoint that I have been driven by it, I don't want to be driven by it, I want to be independent, and now I know that I can be independent, therefore I want to quit. You are almost like on a reactive mode. But coming to a point, understanding that its presence or absence does not create an iota of change. When you have reached to that solid state of base, at that point, quit. You would not regret it ever. Because the delusion has completely lost its control on you. It cannot control you any further. Not just here, in any other walk of life. Such a true dispassionate one, when they sit down to understand the essence of life, Brahma padam tvam pravisha viditva. And what is the essence? That essence which is being pointed at is this conscious principle, that which I am, is the only thing which is truly independent. Now that's a huge jump that I just made. Let me make the connect. The most externality, the job, the environment, the people, the spotlight, the responsibility, all of this I am independent from. And then what becomes important is, in a true pursuit of that independence. Now at that intersection, when I come to understand I am independent, it's a conglomerate of this body, mind, intellect, everything put together, as this individual is independent from all of that. Am I getting across? Now when you grow subtler to understand the true form of independence, one has to now re-understand or re-evaluate in understanding what exactly, pay attention here, what exactly is me? Am I being caught up in a definition of me which is constrained, which is limiting me? Or even that has to be re-evaluated. And when we start pursuing it, that is when we come to understand the Vedantic reality, that at this present moment I define still myself as this body, wherein our own experience has been that when death happens, we clearly say that that individual who is to reside in that body has gone. I am not talking of Sampradaya Bheda, different traditions in Hinduism. Across the globe, this is the clear-cut understanding that there is an individual that resides in this body, and that individuality is distinctly other than, separate from this body. Isn't it across the globe everybody has the same understanding? Meaning there is some entity which is distinctly other than this body. And to understand ki I have been spending all my life only in catering to being a body. Wherein the fact of the matter is, that is a delusional concept because I am not the body. I am only living through the body. It's just a mere equipment. Once I understand clearly that this is just mere equipment, Indian advertisement, there was one Hero Honda advertisement. उसका tagline होता था, fill it, shut it, forget it. They used to say that it gives the greatest mileage. Do you guys remember that ad? Fill it, shut it, forget it. Our attitude with this body also should be the same kind. Fill it 3 times. Rest of the time, shut it. And don't give too much of value beyond that. Bare minimum maintenance. After that, forget it. But how much we spend time on this? Day in and day out. You will be shocked. घर जाके ना एक पेपर पेन लो, write down. From morning till evening, every minute accounted for. How much time am I spending on this body, as a body, pampering this body? With a feel of feel-good factor. Everybody drives a car. गाड़ी चलाते हो. First car that you bought, every other week you took it, got it cleaned, inside cleaned, outside cleaned, waxed. Up until what time? Haji? You nailed it. Until you get your first scratch or dent. तब बहुत ठेस पहुंचता है. Ouch! It's almost like somebody has taken that and scratched you. If you have kids, which you do, you reach to that point sooner. First spill. After that point, what is your attitude towards the car? चलता है, गैस है, right? Maintained है, is it well maintained? And is it doably clean? I'm not saying like spick and span, doably clean. Because you reach to that point of vairagya as soon as you have 2 kids and 2 pets. Enough barbadi inside. There is hair, there is drooling, there is this, there is that. And with the kids, you reach to that point of vairagya towards it very, very, very quickly. To understand, it should be usable for that purpose and fair enough clean. Isn't it? Now, if this body is being trimmed and constantly polished, waxed and 3 बार खाना खिलाया, 3 बार सुलाया, 2 बार नहलाया, it's constantly the same thing repeated again and again and again and again and again, only for that purpose. Knowing very clearly that that is not me. That is a residence that which I am using or through which I can function. Just about that. Then there is the internal equipment. This is the outer equipment. There is an internal equipment, hardware bound to software, mind and intellect, feelings. कुछ कुछ होता है. In the highest romantic, I cannot imagine a moment that I can survive without you. ये बोलते बोलते सो गया. Do you think during that sleep moment there is a thought of anything outside? Deep sleep, there is no thought. मर गए हो का? No. तो झूठ बोल रहे थे. स्वामी जी ऐसे मत पूछो. Right? In our own experience we see. Feelings, emotions, we give so much of value to it, wrongly carry ourselves through those emotions and get identified with it, whether it is of fairly positive qualities, fairly bad qualities, both. As long as I am attached to those emotions and it takes a swing at me and I swing wherever it takes me, it is going to be a cause of misery. It is also a tool that has to be used, but we get driven by it. The definition of self, I am my emotions, I am my feelings. When my own experience is that I am certainly something other than that. And yet, if I am constantly being, smeared across because of that particular moment's feeling or emotion, am I really free? So redefining the self as we progress from the grossest to the subtlest. That irrefutable subtle aspect where we come and stop, all the processing stops. That is called Brahmapada. There is again a question that comes where people say, I think, therefore I exist, therefore I am, or I am, therefore I think. Vedanta is of the second belief or second experience. There are phases in life wherein we don't think. We claim that ourselves. Why did you do this? सोच नहीं रहा था. Have you ever said that? I was not thinking. I was not thinking properly. There are definitely moments like in deep sleep where I don't even think. There is not a thought. There is no activity there. If I think, therefore I exist, we would have been scared to fall asleep, even in satsang. Why would we be scared to fall asleep? Because I'll stop thinking, therefore I don't exist. No, I fall asleep, I wake up, and I start thinking because I continue to persist, I continue to exist. There is something other than the thinking, other than the emotion, other than the ideas, other than the convictions, independent of it. That is called Brahmapada. That which is my actual true nature. Anything other than that, as we hold on to it, we hold on to it as my own self, it has to be only delusional. Maya mayamidam akhilam buddha. Brahmapadam tvam pravisha viditva. Where are we caught most of the times? Dhana, jana, yavana, and the garva in that. The pride in that, the arrogance in that, the boastfulness in that. And why should we not get caught up in it? Because harati nimeshat kalas sarva. It just vanishes like that. Now that we know that it is of that nature, and what is the best way to use it? For those that at this point, whatever you define as your circle, with that resources that which you have, try providing the best for that, as trying to expand that circle to the highest level. Try being supporting, giving, serving, because in that selfless service, the amount of satisfaction that you can gain is immeasurable. I've asked many teachers, even here in this country, they say, you don't make much. You slog throughout the years. Why do you continue going back? Do you know how much an average teacher earns here? Your video is seen but audio is not heard. मतलब सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है, जोर से बताइए. But 45 to 50K is the average. Year after year with that kind of pay, where they have to deal our children. भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे, नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा. Our children, they have to deal for 8 hours a day, divided 1/3 of their life they have to deal, and they get paid peanuts. They said, काहे करते हो ये? The returns are pathetic. Why do you continue year after year? So that moment when I see in the child a spark of clarity and a U-turn in the child's life, where there is some meaningful, impactful change that has happened. That change which triggers a sense of satisfaction is immense. That many students, that many times it happens, it is immeasurable satisfaction. In that selflessness, when you care for those who are in that circle around and give the best, not because they are demanding it, it is because I have an excess, I will give. That is called, this Brahmapada extending to the world around me as the service of the Lord of Lord. Where do you hear this? In the pledge that which we stand every week after week and say, right? The service of the nation is the service of the Lord of Lord. Devotion to the people is a devotion to the Supreme Self. And what is the last sentence? We know our knowing this, establish it in this freedom, and from there connecting to the world and being there. That is the greatest seva. We will continue next week. Om Shanta Shanta Shanti Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.